Okay, tonight it's Pacific Northwest. We're on Rougeaux. I have Mike Cable here.
Hey everybody.
So he's new at Dorm Realty, amazing agent starting out. And,
Thanks, Ron.
I appreciate it. Yeah, so we're gonna basically just chat. We're gonna talk. Mike had a great experience. He took a house that actually I was trying to buy back in the day, and was able to list it for the client and get it sold. Hard house to sell. Easy, hard.
Well, it's a good question. For me, call it timing or coincidence, but it sold fairly quick.
Okay.
The house on East Bay Drive had been for sale for over 400 days.
Yeah, it was a year when I first looked at it.
Yeah, it was with an agent from out of the area, and that's how I first noticed the home. And I thought about buying it myself. I think a lot of people did. Didn't quite fit where I was at the time. But the way it started is, as Ron said, I'm a relatively new agent with Van Dorm, and I'm trying to brainstorm ideas of how to do what my passion is, and real estate is it. Try and get new listings. So I saw that home transitioned from a Windermere listing to a for sale by owner.
Okay.
And coincidentally, the weekend before, I had held an open house in Tumwater. I met a guy by the name of Hunter. He showed up to the open house with his mom, and he was looking to buy. And he had the realization that a lot of us do when we're a little bit younger is, hey, I'm paying $1,500 a month in rent.
Yeah.
This could be a mortgage. I could be a homeowner.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
He showed up to the open house, and the house that I was hosting wasn't quite a good fit for him, but I used the old sign-in book, when people came into the open house, and he put his contact information down, and so I followed up with him, and he said he'd be open to checking out a place that might fit him. So that was my entryway into contacting the gentleman that owned the East Bay Drive home.
The for sale by owner now.
For sale by owner.
Okay.
And my initial thought was, this would be a great place for a young guy to buy a home.
Oh, great location.
A couple blocks from downtown. You can go do your thing down there and walk home. You can go to the farmer's market.
Yeah.
You're close to the freeway. Really cool location.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I loved it right away.
Yeah. So I called this gentleman. His name's Al, and I really wasn't planning on seeing if I could list his home. My goal at that time was to see if it would be good fit for my client. So
Okay.
I asked Al if I could preview the house because I hadn't been inside, and the pictures online were pretty poor quality.
Yeah.
And so I asked if I could preview it for my client. He said yes, looked at the home. I tried to contact Hunter, and he never got back to me. So Hunter, if you're listening, you call, man. I got stuff for you. But after talking to Al, it just kind of occurred to me that I felt like I could really help him sell his home.
Yeah.
And my initial approach to him was, hey, Al, I've got a good social media presence. If you have a nice professional sign out front that says Van Dorm,
Yeah.
a name that the city trusts and knows.
Right.
Get a professional photographer out here.
Always.
I kind of had a vision. I said, you get these pictures looking as good as they can get. You've got a great location, that beautiful view over to Bud Inlet. Let's get a drone out here. Let's take a look, because the lot is surprisingly big for that area with a fenced backyard and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that. Professional photos, wrote up a good listing, and we got an offer in I think the first 4 days.
Yeah, which is great.
Yeah, it was great. I think it had been on the market long enough that Al was ready to let it go.
Okay.
It was a rental property for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a good plan. I got to give him props. He wanted to hold on to it until they developed that area over by the Children's Museum.
Gotcha.
Where they're going to start building up like a retail area with condos above.
Yeah.
And so he thought, if I can hold out till then, it's going to raise the property value.
Yeah.
He's probably right, but he's a retired Army guy.
Okay.
He's in his 70s,
Yeah.
and he said, I just want to get rid of this thing and go visit my grandchildren, not worry about it. And so fortunately, we're able to do that for him.
Oh,
and
good.
it's going to close October 5th.
Yeah, well, congratulations.
Thanks so much. Yeah, it was a great experience. That's the hard part about getting into this business is, at least for me, there's, correct me if I'm wrong, we've talked a little bit before we started this podcast, but there's no blueprint to figure out how to get clientele. And when I say get clientele, I don't mean in a selfish way, like, oh, I want to just, do all this business, but I mean it in a way like, I want this to be my career. How do I survive and do well in a career? You have to get clientele. And there are ways of things that work, like you were sharing with me. But as a new agent, I think the challenge is you don't know what's going to work. And when I would ask experienced agents or a Google search or YouTube search how to get real estate clients, there's really no step-by-step answer. And I think it's because there isn't necessarily a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 step answer that's going to guarantee results. It's a little bit different for everybody. And kind of like you mentioned, you got to find your niche a little bit.
You do. You hit the nail on the head with that. First of all, for coming in right away and grinding and getting a listing that we've all looked at, everybody knew that home, beautiful over the waterfront. I looked at it, I wanted it as a rental. And I couldn't get it a year ago. I offered him lower than the amount they took, and so props to you for selling it.
Thank you.
A few key things, because what you're talking about with the blueprint comes into one major point. It's passion. If you're wanting to do this as your job, it's all about connections, and you're passionate. You met the gentleman. Your goal is not to sell his home or list his home. Your goal is to preview it for a client because you actually cared about this young fellow. Hunter, you should be using this guy. I'm sorry. But you cared to actually go out and preview it.
Yeah.
And then the guy clicked with you, and then he trusted you to list your home or his home, and you got it done. You're right in the blueprint plan. I looked at this. So when I first started, I saw these places where you could buy a subscription. You could go to these meetings. You can do all this stuff. And I've seen that in the corporate world a lot. I've seen all this stuff where they try to sell you on this or follow this pattern. And I got out of that corporate world because I want to do it my way, my style, and how I trusted myself. And it worked out with flying colors. So I would say, number one, trust yourself, whichever way you want to go. 2, be dedicated. If this is what you want to do in real estate, say, okay, I want to do this. Now either 1 or 2 things. Find a good mentor that's going to teach you how they've done it, and you pick up little notes, but make sure that mentor is going to mesh with your style. I will say that. There's some mentors that are going to stick with their corporate world because they do come from corporate background and they have that mentality, or you get a lot of military, RNs, everything else that come and they have another different style mentality, very OCD, paperwork. My style was, I don't even know what my style is, Captain Ron style, a little mix of traveling,
true entrepreneur,
moving around, just working. To go back to your blueprint of real estate, that's one thing. You'll find agents actually do a good job. There's some agents out there, if you Google, show me the steps of how to be an agent. And the reason I don't think there's a blueprint is you can teach someone how to go and meet the clients, talk to clients. You can teach them the paperwork, but to put it all together and actually have someone trust you to sell the home, you need the knowledge and the experience sometimes, or you need the foresight to know how to sell the home. So to put it all together in the blueprint, it's hard to fix the genres altogether because, like you hit a key point, professional photography. When I was starting off, I was using my own camera because I didn't have the extra $300 to $500 sometimes, or some offices will back you and payroll you to take the pictures. Just depends. The foresight to know how to list or write about the home or locations. You're just getting to know locations. Unless you live in the area, you still know locations, but in real estate, you're not sure which neighborhood's popping. You're not sure what's selling, what's hot, where people are moving, what's wrong with the area. There's all kinds of issues with different locations that, unless you're in the business a while, you don't know. So that blueprint to start, there are some, and I've thought about this before, so I do this with some of my agents. There's some blueprints of, okay, this is how you start with your client to build up your pipeline. It's all about corporate, again, I hate to say that, stigma, but it's building up connections or clients that are going to sell in a year, 2 years, 6 months, that are going to come to you because we already established that trust. So that blueprint of building that pipeline up, we can teach you how to talk and the lingo and to set up the contracts and everything like that, but ultimately it's going to come down to you. You're selling yourself because they can pick any agent, do they trust you?
Right.
Do they trust your experience? Do they think that you're going to make the most money? Because most of them, it's either the first-time home buyers, big serious thing. They're nervous and you
Yeah.
walk them through every step.
For good reason. Yeah.
That's right. Earnest money, everything
Yeah.
else. So you can give the steps and the home inspection, and then how to negotiate is a huge thing.
Yeah.
Because agents have key words when you start negotiating, and so I'll have some of my clients or agents call and say, hey, they said this. Oh, that's a key word. Here's what you need to how to go back and negotiate, because they're kind of giving you a hint of negotiating. So that's kind of a long-winded. Someone should come out with like a nice, simple, just handbook of, okay, if you're a first-time agent, here's what to do. Build up your presence on the websites. Go around and door knock and meet every neighbor. Give your business card to everybody. Anywhere you go, let people know you're a realtor. Don't try to hard sell them, but just say, hey, if you need real estate, let me at least compete. If you like me, let me try to show you my style.
Yeah.
I will say, if people are selling, they should sell with people that are going to mesh with their style. If you're a real cool dude and you go with a tight corporate dude, and
It's not gonna mesh.
it doesn't usually work, and it doesn't sell. So you have to really work with someone that's going to work with you selling, because it still is a team effort.
Yeah.
I like to take charge on the listings. You need someone that's going to follow you. If they want to take charge, but it's not their business, I don't come into the office and say, okay, I'm going to be the doctor today. Here's what's going to happen. It doesn't work.
Yeah.
So it really needs to flow well. So you have those steps, and then building up the clientele, like you said. You really need to come in and build up that clientele, and that takes time and passion.
Yeah.
So
Talking about passion, Ron and I, we just met a couple months ago. We
Right,
don't know
yeah.
each other that well, but
Yeah.
when I first met you, the first thing that I noticed about you is that you're a very genuine person.
oh, thank you.
And from the first time that you said hi to me and shook my hand, you looked at me and you just seemed like a down-to-earth, genuine guy.
Thank you.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a big part of success for your business, apart from working as hard as you do. You're a guy that people trust, and you're straight with people, and so that goes to the passion. And
Oh, I
some,
appreciate it.
yeah, and sometimes you can teach that a little bit, but a lot of it, I'm sure, is natural for you. And when I was working with this guy on East Bay Drive, after we went under contract with his place and we had a buyer, he goes, Mike, I wanted to tell you that I had maybe 100 real estate agents contact me over the last year.
Believe it, yeah.
He said, out of all of them, you're the one I picked because I trust you.
Yeah.
I trust your opinion, and I know that you're going to do what's right for me, and you're going to do the best you can.
Correct.
And that was a big compliment for me, and
Absolutely.
it was a confidence booster in the sense that he can see that I want what's best for him.
Right.
I have a service as a real estate agent that I can provide to somebody who isn't in the real estate business but wants to sell a home. I can help them do that in a way that they can't do it, with the resources that we have, the name that's backing us at Van Dorm.
Yep.
And it really helps people, and they're thankful for it.
Yeah.
It's a privilege, and it's fun, too.
Well, and I knew meeting you, you do have that, and I believe it's the same way, so I don't want to throw it back, but you have that genuine personality. You meet someone, you're like, okay, I like them, you can trust them. And
Yeah.
so that goes without saying. When we met you,
Uh-huh.
you're going to make that niche. So that's one thing that's untrainable almost, is you have to connect with the people you're going to connect with.
Yeah.
And so when you start meeting with people, now it's, okay, building in the steps of, all right, how do we go get more of those connections? And that's where you need to learn your style.
Okay.
So, and I've been a big fan of, I like to have a beer. So I'll go down to some of the local bars and I'll have a beer or a glass of wine,
Yeah.
and I'll meet people that like to have beer. I like to fish. I like to be out in the water. I'm out in the woods. Any passion that you have, you'll find other people in those passions, and then they'll trust you with that passion, and you can move it along with real estate. And then, I move it along with jiu-jitsu. I like to fight jiu-jitsu or chiropractor, or any way you start going back and forth and everybody starts sharing, and that's how I believe you build the community. So as a realtor, we're not only selling homes, but you're building the community for the better.
Mhm.
So you're trying to get people the best home, the best location, because you're building that community.
Yeah.
So that made complete sense that he trusted you. Because military background as well, so that really helps.
Yeah, he is retired, yeah.
Yeah.
One thing too is, as a registered nurse for the last decade or more, you are helping people,
Correct.
but in a different way. Because they're coming to you for a need, but it's so urgent, I was an ER nurse for the majority of my career.
So you can see that passion. You like just helping people.
Yeah, you're
good.
there for them. Yeah, yeah. And so you're also doing that in real estate, but at the same time, it's completely different. Not only are you not in a hospital setting, but I'm using those same skills that I learned in the hospital: good communication, good listening, reading verbal and nonverbal communication stuff from whoever you're speaking with, and then a lot of it is prioritizing what's important. And one of the things that I pride myself with the clients that I have the privilege to work with is that I give them an outline of the process. I give them a duration and an expectation. So I never finish a conversation with the client and say, all right, well, I'll catch up with you later. I always say, we went under contract on a home in Tumwater with some first-time homeowners, home buyers. And every time I talk with them, I always make a point to say, okay, Bill, next step is the appraisal. The appraisal's happening on the 20th. If I hear anything different, I'm going to call you. Today's world, you can text me or call me 24/7. I'm going to get back to you. I make myself available, and so that's worked really well for me.
Communication's huge.
Yeah, huge. And when you were talking about being someone that's genuine, that's important. And I feel like I'm that way. I have a little bit of a rough exterior, shaved head, workout, covered in tattoos. When people first see me, I always use this example. The very first open house I held, I had so the house was empty. It wasn't really a really busy day. I'm in there. I've got all my printouts, my business cards. I've got Starbucks coffees. I got everything waiting, and a lady walked in with her kid. And she walked in and she did a double take because she saw me there, and she probably thought, wait, this isn't your typical real estate agent. Fortunately, that's something I'm used to because as a registered nurse in the hospital, a patient may come in or you walk in the room and they say, wait a minute, they got to double check your name tag and say, are you supposed to be here? But then once I start talking and build that relationship, then it goes a lot smoother.
But I like that because, like you said, not your typical real estate. That's a huge niche for you because this is what clients are looking for. Because I will say, these are passions of clients: working out, registered nurse. Not your typical. I like that. I think that's perfect. I think it's exotic. I think this is how it should be. It's the new world. Tattoos. We all have tattoos. I mean, I got this from Craig Ferguson. I mean, all that. It's who you are. It's your personality. I think you should embrace that. And I know clients will love that with you because it shows more personality. I don't want someone that's the same bland person, 3 people, because they're going to do the same thing with selling the home. That person's going to say the same thing with that person, I want someone that's going to take a different outside-of-the-box idea. I want someone that's not normal to sell my home because that's what's going to make you more money. And it's what's going to help the buyers find the best home. You're going and previewing a home for a buyer that, sorry Hunter again, I'm using them, but that's taking initiative where most agents don't do that. They're very bland. No offense to other agents, I get, but
sure.
You'd rather have someone like yourself that's outside the box, that's going to work hard and enjoy this and actually want to do this full time. So I think you have a huge advantage. That checklist, communication checklist, huge. I do that with my clients all the time because anything I want to do, I want the checklist. I want to know every single operation. I want to know ABC. Okay, off of A, what's ABC off of that? Off of ABC, so
when is it going to happen? What's the time frame here?
Times, everything. And so clients will love that. Actually, even print some of that off for clients, and I show them, hey, here's the steps, here's what to expect, here's contingencies, here's fail safes, here's where you earn us money back, this is what we do, this is the strategy, this is how we'll negotiate. I love laying it all out for them, and I think that's a step above. And then the other step is walk the property. If you do a listing, I went on a listing of 1.2 million coming up, going to be beautiful on Johnson Point.
Nice.
3 of the other agents didn't walk the property. Says, well, do you want to see the attic? I said, hell yeah, I want to see the attic. I wanted to see everything. I've actually seen the property before. It was previously listed, and I had some new ideas and fresh, so we're going to try to redo it a different strategy way. And he's like, you're the first one out of the 3 other people we interviewed that actually wanted to get up and see the attic, wanted to go through here. Even though I've seen everything, I want to see it again. I want to see it through their eyes. I want to hear it from their details. Communication's huge. You'll find in this business, even in today's world, it's a shame, communication, text, phone calls. Agent to agent's a little different. I'm torn. If we have the deal moving forward, I don't need the agent to check on me every day.
Sure.
But with the client, call me every day. I've
Yeah.
had a few amazing clients. I say amazing, that have called me every day, and that's
Yeah.
fine. Call me every
Sure.
day. We're walking through this, and I think clients are going to be surprised and very happy with you because of your RN experience. You have that nurturing spirit that's not only going to take care of them, but now you're bringing the real estate aspect, outside the box thinking. You're going to excel.
Thank you.
So yeah, this is Mike Cable. If you need Mike Cable for any real estate, I was excited to have him. I may have him more because I like talking with him. We
Yeah,
talked.
let's do it.
Yeah.
It's fun. Yeah.
We talked a lot before. So.
Yeah, and Ron's been welcoming, and so has everyone at Van Dorm. It's really just a big family.
Yeah.
I haven't met anyone that wasn't super nice, and
That's right.
Jeff was the first person that I sat down to interview with for a potential job, and when I walked out of that interview, I said, "This is a guy I want to work for."
Correct.
There was just no question in my mind. That
Oh, great boss.
personality, yeah, and his, the business model and just his attitude, and again, a guy that's successful and he genuinely cares about his clients, his employees, the business, and there's no better place to be.
No, that's the reason I worked there. I did different interviews, and I looked for the boss that I wanted to work for, and that was Jeff. Jeff was just the guy that would be there and have your back. Wasn't the micromanage, wasn't this or that. It was go do your thing, but I will always have your back and actually care.
Yeah.
Not just there you go, but I care.
Yeah.
And I've seen it more than enough times. I mean, I have stories where Jeff has actually cared, and it's insane. So, if you're working for a company, make sure it's at least here in Olympia, it's Van Dorm, because when the passion and the caring goes, makes a huge difference because it allows you to excel and be confident in yourself and go sell more homes.
Yeah, and you know that he's supporting you.
Yeah.
And not only do you have other agents, you've helped me out quite a bit too. And I remember the first time I had to call Jeff and ask him a question about a potential listing. It was on a Sunday, and he answered his phone. I thought I was going to leave you a message. He said, "No, what's up? What can I do for you?"
That's right.
And so right then and there, I was like, "This is going to work out fine."
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've done many of those phone calls and
Yeah.
texts in the evening. He's like, "All right." I'm like, "Thanks, Jeff."
Yeah.
But that's what you want. And he has there's 120, 130 agents. He's
Yeah.
answering his cell phone, the boss, to take your phone calls and walk you through every step.
Yeah.
So the company alone, you'll do great. We'll have more of Mike's here. If you have any questions for Mike or myself, need help listing homes, buying homes, please don't hesitate. You have a registered nurse, so if something happens while you're looking at the homes or listing, you're holding there. I forgot about that. That's a huge niche.
I have a cell phone. I can call 911.
And Mike's there too.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be soliciting the audience. If you guys need anything else, my website, Pacific Northwest Homes Group as well, Van Dorm Realty. I'll put Mike's information, my information. YouTube, subscribe to the channel. I'm going to make Mike make his own YouTube channel, so I'm going to make him put this on his channel. So subscribe to Mike as well. Other than that, thank you guys.
I've got Facebook at Mike Cable, C-A-B-L-E, and then Instagram as well, Mike Cable and Mike Cable Properties. So you can.
I'll put those down under there too for
Cool.
you. So you'll have it all for us. Yeah, nice one.
Thanks, Ron. It's fun, man.
Absolutely.
All right. Cool.
All right, guys.